So everybody, welcome. My name's Dena.
And I'm Dana.
And we're going to be talking to you all about some issues related to health promotion. Today, the way that the course is going to run is we're going to start out with a little myth, true or false fact sheet about sexuality, just so we can kind of get a baseline of where everybody's at with their prior knowledge coming into the course, so that then as we go on, we'll be able to tailor it to the issues that you all are interested in learning, but also the issues that we feel are the most important. And then we're going to transition into learning some more things about the signs and symptoms of sexually transmitted infections, and then the next class will continue from that point, going more into sexuality. So the first thing I want to do is pass around this handout. You'll see that there are statements, and can you just pass them around actually, since I can't. So you'll see there's statements that are in bold, and what we're going to do is go over the first one as a class, and then after that you're just going to work with the person next to you, and we're trying to figure out if this fact is true or false. So the first one, thank you. So the first one is, our sexuality is made up of our bodies alone. Does anyone have anything that they think would make that fact true or false about sexuality? Why do you say that, Brian?
Because sexuality includes like relationships and like your perceptions on sex in general, your beliefs, values, morals, ethics, all that.
Anyone else? Katie, what about you? Do you have anything that you wanted to add to the list of what Ryan just said about sexuality? Did I get everything that you said?
I think you said morals too, didn't you?
And ethics.
And ethics.
Communication. Anything else with so when it says that it's our bodies alone, our bodies are still a part of sexuality though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the other things that I have on my list are sexual identity. Does anyone know what sexual identity is? Emma, or Alex, can you explain sexual identity to me?
It's like how you, how you identify yourself.
Okay.
It kind of, that doesn't really make sense. I was trying not to use the word, but there's no way to do that. Like your...
What gender you believe you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good way to explain it. So now we're going to go through, and if Emma and Kelsey want to work together, Ryan and Alex, and then if Andy, Michelle, and Katie want to work in a group of 3, you all are going to go through statements 2 through 8. You're going to have about 8 to 10 minutes to go through the statements. Once you're finished, if you can just put your pens down so that way I know and we can start to go over them as a class. Try and come up with as many sort of bullet points that you can for each statement that's going to prove that it's either true or false, and then we're going to go over them as a class. So you guys can start.
True. I mean, like,
Yeah.
some people can be from, like, transgender. Yeah.
I mean, what was your transgender?
That's what she just said.
Biologically, so.
Yeah.
So
What?
bad.
Can't you be like, how do you brother?
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
you
what
probably
transgender
can.
means, but it's not a girl, boy, a man, or transgender. We're nothing, right? I'm just like, people not identify.
Are you guys stuck?
Not quite.
Okay.
Who's your question? I'm gonna say false just because I think this is still laziness somewhere, and some people choose it.
I think we have to make this body images.
False.
I guess.
How are you guys coming to your conclusions?
Brain power.
Yeah. Mind bullets.
Okay. Just make sure that you remember the ways that you came to your decision, because we're going to talk
Are we
about
correcting the false ones?
Express and experience
Just make sure that you have something to prove your argument. You don't have to
What
necessarily
else?
correct it as long as you can prove why you came to that conclusion.
Okay.
We express experience sexuality,
That's not the
relationships,
Right.
communication. Same as the first one, it's values.
There's more, like, you can express yourself through, like, these
PERC.
like your beliefs.
Well, and then
I-
body
Values
values,
and
and
morals.
it's also like how you see yourself.
Yeah.
Some nice letters in it. There's some nice letters.
Should we go back to
Okay, so body image is how you perceive yourself.
sexuality and ways we experience it, influence of religious and spiritual, like
What else do you express in sexuality?
All of the stuff that's in.
supposed to be frogs.
Seaboard.
I'd say, like, in how you, think of yourself in relationships.
Chumbawamba.
Okay.
Dena&Dana.
Well, that's yeah. It doesn't say only, so yeah, I guess true.
So what we're doing is going through this list. We did the first one together. We talked about sexuality and what makes it us, and then we're going through like 2 through 8, and basically just make sure that you don't necessarily have to write how you came to the conclusion as long as you can discuss it when we're doing our group discussion.
Culture, family.
And we're working in groups, so if you just want to tag on to this one. You had about 3 more minutes to finish up.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Lost my phone. Hence my alarm. I woke up and had like
Alex and Ryan, are you guys finished?
We're good.
Okay.
Golden,
Over 2.
golden rule. You ran.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Where? You ran away from something?
I will say for sure.
For a reason?
That's kind
just a
of
rising shot.
So they honors.
Like,
Yeah.
vision.
Just like,
You're too sure. He's like, "Oh, no."
You finished over here.
You guys like that too?
Kelsey and Emma, are you guys finished?
Collapse.
Okay. Alright, so we're going to come back together as a class, and we're going to go over them. Just to start off, were any of them more difficult than others?
Yeah.
Which ones did you find more difficult, Michelle?
7 and 2.
Okay, and what was more difficult about those?
With 7, we didn't know if it was true or false because we believe the sentence like was true, but it was also like missing out, like missing some things,
Okay.
and it didn't say like only. So we're like, well, it's technically true, but
So you didn't know if it was complete?
yeah.
Okay. And Emma, you said 2 also?
yeah.
What was difficult about that one?
Well, because there's another, like, there's something else besides biological sex, but I couldn't think of what it is.
Okay.
Which is when, like, they could be male but consider themselves.
Okay, so does anyone know what that term is called?
I should.
Transgender.
No.
Wait, what's the?
It's something,
When
it's
you-
not biological sex, it's something sex.
Does anyone remember what that's called?
It's driving me nuts. Like,
I
it's
bet
on
you
the
guys
arm
are.
or something.
What you were saying?
So that's called intersex. So Emma's right that that's another thing that's biological. So it's not necessarily male, but it's not necessarily female. Yeah.
This is kind of off topic, but in human sexuality we learned like there's biological sex and then there's like the one that's not biological. Do you know what I'm talking about? Which is, it's when like you, okay, so
How you
now-
identify yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that that's kind of like the next question. That might be more with number 3. Is that what you mean? How?
Yeah, maybe.
Because I mean, the way that I understand it, and the way that we're going to go about it for this class is your biological sex is one thing, but then the way that you identify yourself is sort of your gender is how we're going to talk about it for here. So I guess, is that the difference that you're talking about? That your
Yeah,
biological
I
sex
just
is
don't
one
remember
thing,
like
but
the
your
that Shawana used. So it's okay.
okay. Sorry. I can look it up, and then when we get back together next class, I can let you know if there's another term that we want to use as a group here as well. So going through, so we sort of touched upon number 2. What conclusions did everyone come to for number 3?
True.
True?
But they said, my group said false.
Yeah, I got true.
Okay. How did you guys come to your
Number
conclusion?
2, true or false?
Oh, sorry. Number 2 was false because we want to have intersex be a biological choice as well. So for number 3, Tim, how did you come to your conclusion?
I said maybe.
I feel like being a boy, girl, man, or woman, and then transgender pretty much covers all the bases.
Okay.
So that's like all you can really identify as.
Did anyone have a different answer? Michelle?
I said false because, although I think what Tim said is true, can't you choose to like not fall into any category?
Asexual.
Yeah, that's true also. I think for this question though, it was trying to get at that if you are going to identify. So I got the same answer that Tim got. I definitely see where your answer
Okay.
could come in if someone was choosing not to identify.
Okay,
as
because
well.
it
So
doesn't-
that's definitely a point.
Gender can be, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
With all of these, as long as you can justify your answer, I'm more than happy.
Okay.
Because it means we're thinking and it means that we're taking a lot into consideration to come to our answers. So as long as you have a justification, that's the point of the activity.
Okay.
So what about number 4? What answers did people get? How about you, Alex?
Where I put true.
How'd you come to that conclusion? Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, number 4. How'd you come to that conclusion?
Well, I read it and it sounded right.
Okay. Did anyone have a different answer for that one?
Yeah, false.
Okay. What else
Because
did you
it could also be like, you could also have experiences and express yourself through your beliefs and your values.
Okay.
Well, it
It's just
doesn't.
like number
That whole.
It doesn't like. It doesn't say like only though. That's why like I said true. I forgot that. It doesn't say
So,
like
oh yeah.
we experience and express our sexual like.
Yeah, it's
through-
not wrong, but I
You
guess
added
that-
stuff.
Yeah.
So
but
sort
yeah,
of like
I
number
added
7.
7, yeah.
Okay. So that's good. We're thinking on our feet. Very good. What about number 5? What answers did everyone get? Andy, what did you get for number 5?
We had false.
Okay, and how did you come to that conclusion?
Because we think that body image also has to do with how you feel about yourself.
Very good.
See yourself.
Very good. Anyone have a different answer? Alright, and for number 6? Kelsey, what did you get for that one?
We had false.
Okay, so how did you...
thought that it included a lot more things like non-sexual relationships, all those things listed on the board again, and then experiences.
And then like the time you spend together.
Okay. Did anyone have anything else to add?
And you can experience sexuality without having a partner.
That was one of the things that was on my list that I wanted to make sure that we touched upon, is that sexuality can also be something that is a personal experience. It doesn't necessarily have to be with other people. Has anyone ever had something like with the list that's up here? Can anyone recall an experience that they've had with something related to this list that had to do with sexuality? Did anyone have maybe something with communication? Have you ever had to use your communication skills when it came to sexuality? Or maybe like communicating with someone else about feelings that you had towards them or something like that? What was your experience, Emma?
I don't know. I mean, I know I've had one before.
Okay.
Maybe you could just come up with an
I mean, I guess
experience
maybe like talking to your parents about it.
Okay, that's really good. And what about, so we talked about number 7, and what about the last one, number 8? What answers did everyone come up with for that one?
False.
False.
And how did you come up with those conclusions? What other things would be included in the influence?
Everything in.
I feel like culture does have a lot to do with your sexuality.
In what ways?